This is the Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
So why would you listen to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast?
Am I right, bada bing?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I laughed way too hard at that. That's the worst thing ever.
And welcome back to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
Hey.
What is going on? That was a weird voice.
I just nodded in agreement with no sound.
Yep.
Yep.
This is what we're doing. So this is Vince, of course, and always Richie.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, Richie? And today we have Anthony. Now, Anthony is my brother, but also he's part of a group called The University. It's available on Spotify, YouTube,
Apple
Music,
Music,
anywhere. It's a little harder to find The University, so you said recommend just search for one of his songs, like Get Loose. So type in The University, Get Loose,
So good.
and all of his stuff will pop up. Get Loose, really good song. I helped make a music video for that. Anthony is kind of the silent partner of Pizza and Hummus Presents. He's the equipment manager.
Yep.
As we do, the equipment manager.
Wasn't Josh Peck the equipment manager in that episode of Drake and Josh where he joined the football team?
I think he was, yeah.
So just call me John.
Whenever, like, because me and Anthony used to be in bands and stuff all the time. Anthony loved dealing with all the music equipment.
Yeah.
So we'd have like these titles, like, oh, I'm the manager, I'm the media guy. Anthony was always, I'm always equipment manager. So
Manager.
So for Pizza and Hummus Presents, Anthony's the equipment manager. Without him, we wouldn't have the speakers and the lights and all that cool stuff.
I literally, after every show, to put in perspective how out of my gourd it is, after every show, I just sit there with my hands out. Like, I don't know what to do, but there's a lot to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to touch. And and everyone's just like, just don't.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll be over here.
And our next show is March 29th.
Yep.
It's going to be a showcase. We got some great comics coming up, and I'm probably going to be hosting.
You're hosting.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So, but for now, let's start the show. Sweet.
Anthony, I might have asked you this. Did you ever listen to Chromeo? Mm-hmm. Very similar. It's perfect. I love it.
Well, it's funny. I didn't listen to them until recently. Until someone told me I sounded like Chromeo. Mm-hmm. And I was like, who's Chromeo?
And they're kind of like, it's this
man.
weird, like, 90s retro futuristic
Funk like,
sound.
yeah.
It's really good.
Really good.
Nice.
I like them.
I feel like
Anthony's
I've
really
showed
good.
you before.
Richie got me hooked on Grizz.
Oh God, isn't he great?
He's too good. It's weird though because from what it sounds like, is that he's playing a bunch of it sounds like he's playing with a bunch of instruments, bunch of funk, bunch of stuff like that. But the format is very much like techno.
Yeah.
In a more there's always a build up, and then there's the breakdown, boom, doo 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 doo, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have like a bunch of funk, a bunch of singers and stuff in it. And I don't know how much of it is actual instruments versus how much of it is programs or they pulled from a different song or whatever. But I'm just like, this is a great direction.
It's
For electronic music. This is a great direction.
So
I love it.
So he's from Michigan. He plays the saxophone, and so Grizmus, which I go to, he has 2 nights. Grizmus. So yeah, every Christmas he has a bunch of charity throughout the week, and then he has a weekend. Day 1 is a live band, and it's hard. You'd hardly call it electronic. It's just a live band, and that's it. With him on the sax and everyone, and so all real instruments. And then the next night is just as if it was just a DJ. And so you go to the first night, and you're like, oh my God, he is so talented. No wonder he plays the saxophone. Blah blah blah. This is where he should be going. And then the next night, he is just being a DJ for the most. He still plays the sax, and you're like, oh, never mind. He's still the best at.
Right.
It's insane.
It's
how
a weird marriage between instruments and electronic music. 'Cause that's always the big issue with electronic music is it's made on a computer.
Right.
It's not real, whatever. But he's going out with a saxophone and he's playing, and it's so cool because it's funky, it's jazzy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can tell that it's definitely within the scope of an electronic song in terms of how it's written. The build up and all that stuff. It's so funky and it's so dancey, and
it's got like a
it's
big
got
band vibe too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love it. And then I'm sitting. It's funny because when I listen to it, I'm like, if Tino and Austin could do something like that, where their instrumentation has that big band, big funk, all that stuff, they do even better.
It's hard to do though.
But it's hard.
Okay,
It's hard to it's very complex
To direct, to write, to get the people who can do it.
Yeah.
And to mix those sounds.
and to wrap it. But if you could,
That would be
I
cool.
think it would be huge.
Oh, you could for sure rap over just that.
Oh yeah.
You could take that exact song and rap over that.
Yeah. But I mean, they're gonna have their own direction of what they want to do and all that stuff. But that's just one thing I'm like, that would be really cool. I'd like to see that more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
There you go. Now it's
cause I'm building that studio I'm building a studio in my basement.
nice.
So, I know Austin for sure is like he wants to like do something together in this once the studio's built.
Mm-hmm.
Tino's kind of on the fence because he has his studio he's working on, so I think he just kind of wants to do something on his own.
There's
Yeah.
always room for
But
one.
yeah, we talk about doing stuff like that where it's like okay, because they rap, so we'll do something. We got talked about something almost just like that.
Yeah.
and then for
Yeah.
the rap over, so we'll see what happens.
That would be sweet.
Well, because like I mean, you've learned to play every instrument that you've ever touched: piano, drums, bass, guitar, all of it. So you have a general sense. And what's good is since you can play a bunch of instruments, you might have some favoritism, but you're not as biased. Like me, I just play guitar. So whenever I write a song, it just has to have cool guitar stuff, and then everything else is just simplified. Just whatever's got to make the guitar the spotlight.
When you're a musician, you listen to a song, you're gonna look at either what you play the drum. If I'm a drummer, play the drums.
Right.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
have drums. So when I write a song, the drums got to be cool,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
it can ruin the song sometimes because,
You forget about the other parts that can bring it out.
or just you're doing a ballad, and you
The
want
drums are the
because the drums are cool, but it's like that doesn't really work though.
work for slow dancing.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people, like whenever they think of, a kid's got to play sports because it teaches you how to work as a team. It's like, yeah, but you can always sit on the bench. If you're in a band, if you're a musician, you have to pull your own weight and you have to work together with everybody. There's no one that's like, oh, I'm in the band. What's your role? I sit on the bench and I wait. I'm third string
Right.
tenor. Maybe in the big leagues, but when it comes to kids and stuff like that, you're not gonna have Johnny. I mean, unless he's working the merch table, he's not part of the band. Everyone has to kind of work together, and that was something that I had to learn. Even when we were growing up and stuff, I always wanted to just have the cool guitar part rather than like, well, does that make sense? Is that gonna make the song better, or is it
Right.
just you can play a cool guitar part? Great.
Remember, we got in a big fight. Not like me and you, but like the whole band, because we had a slow song in "Falling for You." Remember the slow song? I can't remember what it was called.
Wait.
It's like, da-na-na-na.
Oh yeah.
Right? We never recorded it, but we recorded it like at our house. But the song started off with a huge solo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think me and you were on board of it being good, but I remember Koo and it's like some of the other guys were like, "No, we don't need a solo there,"
So
because we had the same idea. At the end of the day, it was wrong
yeah.
because I think it was the wrong solo.
It was definitely the wrong solo because I didn't understand key. So I wasn't playing
Well,
in the
that
key
aside, yeah, that
of the
was-
song. I was just like, "What's the fast I play?" Because when we were trying to make a ballad. My dad, super in the '80s, was like, "You guys got to make a ballad."
Every album needs one ballad.
Every
One
album,
ballad.
every Motley Crue album has at least one ballad. You got to have a big epic ballad, and every epic ballad has a cool guitar solo. It's a big thing, and I wanted to have a guitar solo anyway, so it
the
didn't really
make out
matter.
part of the song.
Yes.
And it's like there's a way to write that solo as opposed to writing, a solo in
Speed metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, speed metal solo. So he was doing like a speed metal solo.
Yeah, just how
just
can I
going
play
fast and
fast?
crazy. Yeah,
In the middle of Love Hurts.
Yeah,
Double
Yeah.
bass.
Just doing every trick that I learned that week. Oh, that can tap and be like Tom Morello, just messing around. And but yeah. So I guess for some of our listeners, well, obviously Anthony's my brother. We grew up, together. We were always playing instruments and stuff. Mainly Anthony. I kind of come in later after I played video games. I'll play some guitar. Okay, but yeah, we had a group called Falling for You. We were, how old was it? 7th or 8th grade? We were
you
pretty
were
young.
in 7th or 8th grade. I was in 5th or 6th. Mike was
Yeah.
in 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Hilarious already.
Hilarious. The premise is already good. But that's how you learn. I mean, that's how you
Yeah.
start off. And it was cool that we were able to kind of practice and stuff because I think it's the big bummer is, let's say you play guitar. If you're playing guitar by yourself, it's not as fun. Whereas if you have a band, you're kind of more motivated. Oh, we gotta have practice today.
Here's what's funnier than that.
Mom, drop us off. We're having practice today.
I started playing drums when I was 3.
And he's not exaggerating.
Knock it
Yeah,
off.
and like I could play.
We have documented footage
3 years old.
of Anthony playing 4/4 timing.
Yep.
He couldn't reach. He couldn't reach the kick because he was too tiny. Because he was little. But so my dad would do the kick, but Anthony could actually.
Yep.
I mean,
3 years old.
ridiculous.
So then eventually when I got like 5 or so, my dad bought me my own drum set, and our cousin Michael, his dad plays piano, so Michael decided to start playing piano. So like, oh, we're gonna start a band. So like Vince's like, I'm gonna play guitar.
Right.
We didn't have a guitar except for this toy guitar with the buttons.
Keep in mind, I was like 6. You know.
Yeah.
So you're about to become a DJ.
About to
we
become
haven't
a
got
DJ.
buttons, so I
Yeah.
can do it.
He's got the little toy guitar from Toys R Us with
Yeah.
the buttons on it. Like you hit it, it'll play like an AC/DC song. Or
Right.
something. You hit the next one, it's like.
Yeah.
So we started a band where I hit real drums, real piano,
And this is me.
play
Fake
this
guitar.
toy guitar. And we get mad at him because we wouldn't practice. Like,
Yeah.
We wouldn't practice.
Vince,
All
yeah,
right.
we do the AC/DC one for, then we switch to the Van Halen song. Yeah, right. You know,
Yeah.
we took it serious.
And I'm like,
so
and I'm
funny.
like, you guys can practice because you're actually playing real instruments. I just press a button and it does it for me.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I remember again, we were young. Me and Michael used to get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Vince not practicing. You know,
Like you're having band meetings without
Yeah.
the guitarist.
Yeah,
be
look.
like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Like,
We're gonna have to have intervention. You know.
and then Vince finally got a guitar, and we're like, bring back the toy
yeah,
guitar.
you gotta,
Yeah. Right. No. Yeah. Because then I still didn't practice, and I was horrible for a long time. But yeah. Then we did that, and then when I started to actually practice and get better, then we brought on Chris Koo.
Yep.
He would sing, and then was this the same time that we brought
Brought Lucido first.
Anthony Lucido? Yeah.
We brought him first.
Oh yeah.
We brought him first to play rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
And then I was at Apple Fest,
Yeah.
for our school, and I seen Chris Koo there because he went to the school, and then he left in like 5th grade or so. And then like 7th grade Apple Fest, I seen him there. He's I sing, I said, oh. So we heard some of his stuff. Like, oh, we thought he's the best singer in the world.
Yeah.
We heard it. We were like, this is the best. He's just a 7th grader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good because, he's a good singer, but he was like, I think at the time it was like, well, he was confident enough to sing.
That was a big
That's it.
issue.
That's
Yeah.
it.
He
And
was
that's what it's
confident
like.
enough to sing, and we were like, "That's all we need."
You listen back, and it wasn't bad. Like it
Right.
was still good, but it's like we thought it was like we found.
And all you have to know is
Yeah.
it's a
Bruno
7th
Mars.
grader singing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because that's all you have
Yes.
to know.
Yeah. There's not too many amazing 7th grade singers. You have to develop it over time, especially with that high pitched voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw it as like, oh, he sings and his dad doesn't make fun of him for it. Oh, this is
you know,
great.
what's, you know what's cool about Chris is, if you listen back to our Falling for You stuff, he doesn't sound like a little kid.
Yeah.
No.
Like if you were to say this is a 6th grader, if you listen to like go on YouTube, type in 6th grader band, like the singer's gonna sound like a 6th grader.
Yeah.
But you listen to Falling for You stuff, he sounds more mature. Than
Yeah.
being a 6th grader. He
Maybe
really
it's
does.
because of the genre of the music that the sound is
Could
allowed to be a
be.
little bit. So if you have the attitude of it, it kind of brings you
When
closer
we were doing
to being
Falling
on
for
par.
You, it wasn't really heavy. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it was just like a pop.
We were really into Fall Out Boy,
Yeah.
My Chemical
okay,
Romance.
yeah.
It was kind of the MySpace emo era.
Yeah.
all-time low. So it was like
Yeah.
his voice is like very high. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits. Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
When you were talking about Anthony playing at 3
Mm-hmm.
drums is stupid. I was talking to my girlfriend. She was talking about her milestones as a baby. She's like, yeah, I said my first word
Yep.
at 2. I was reading when I was 3. It was something obnoxious, and I was walking and talking in full sentences, and I was bilingual by 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. And I go, here's a video of me when I was 5, and I could hardly talk.
Yeah.
And it's just like stuttering the whole thing. I was like, let me just put this away. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was 3 years behind the
The
times.
milestones.
Like, this isn't cute. This is someone needs
Someone
to-
help the kid.
I need a tutor for speaking.
I think
Yeah, I think that's where I was at.
I think if you focus so much on milestones when you were a kid, I think you need more milestones as an adult. Like if you're like, well, when I was 3, I could talk. It's like, yeah, but you're unemployed.
like clinging on
Get to that talking because you gotta get yourself a job.
Like if you're in high school, be like, or not in high school, just fresh out of college. Remember that class of '83, like that Tom Segura.
Yeah.
joke. Look at that.
This is my ring. What do you do now? Think about killing myself. Well, okay, so it was funny because I was actually talking to my wife about this yesterday. So you guys remember when you were kids, the whole like Jumpstart stuff where they have like these computer games like Jumpstart Kindergarten, where there's all these games to like teach you to learn, and now they have, I think it's Leapfrog,
Yeah.
all these education stuff. And we were talking about how like her parents would buy her a bunch of stuff. I know our parents, they would get us that type of stuff, and it's like, do you think like Steve Jobs or who, Elon Musk was like, I first started because my parents gave me Jumpstart
I don't think anyone attributes anything to that.
or whatever. But it's so weird though, because like you're a parent now, you have a 6-month-old or 7-month-old. So you guys are going to start thinking about stuff of like, okay, well, we want to make sure that she's developing right and that she's learning and she can keep up with everybody, or maybe if anything, be ahead of the curve. And they really press you into like if they're not listening to Baby Einstein every day,
Right.
they're not gonna go to college. They're gonna become a stripper, and you're like, oh God, I better listen to Baby Einstein. But it's like, can we actually prove, or can we actually see like, yeah, no, actually that helped, or is it just the kid like if he's exposed to it, okay, but if not, he can still learn and figure out stuff.
Yeah, I guess you would, because you would just, I guess they would look at test results like your third grade, because you do it up until like, I think they had it up until 8th grade.
Yeah,
Remember
I think
those
so
like
too.
books we used to do every summer?
Yeah,
Gross.
yeah.
Well, there's got to be
And our
some
grades still sucked.
There's got to be some kind of just common sense to it, like not maybe because you did this brand or you listened to this, but like you got to imagine if you got 2 people playing in dirt, two kids, Mia 1.5, reciting a symphony, and me, I'm doing handstands trying to make fart noises with that skin in between behind my knee, and be like, which one is gonna like, or they know like you're more absorbed to learn a second language at that time, or no, well, he's doomed. He's 6 now, so I didn't see a single Baby Einstein book, so forget it. I think on the extremes it makes sense.
You know what it is they market it or it's talked about as, if you don't do this, you're gonna end up bad.
And that's the bad pressure of it. Be like, are you failing? Probably. As a parent.
Yeah. So it's like, this is gonna help, but it's not.
It's not going to make your kid like useless.
If you don't do it, doesn't mean you're gonna fail in life.
He's not gonna fail.
Right.
He or she's not gonna fail. Look at me.
I mean, well, because like obviously you don't want your kid just exposed to trash all the time. You want your kid to feel like they're being challenged and they're able to like think and process and stuff. But it's just kind of weird. It's like how much of it does it really help? Because no one ever points like, if it wasn't for Jumpstart 2nd grade, I probably wouldn't have made it to Harvard.
Right.
Like no one.
Steve Jobs never attributes his coming up with the iPhone to, thank God for Hooked on Phonics.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me.
I really hate the idea that when like you're like a certain age, like when you're like a newborn or a little kid, you can learn a bilingual better. Mm-hmm. It's probably true, but the reason why I don't like it is it's just an excuse for me to be like, if only I was a baby, I could have learned Latin. Like
it does make it easier to give up on the idea and be like, well,
I'm not a baby,
my
so
brain's
I'm doomed.
not a sponge apparently.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm already filled up on
Eminem quotes.
On Eminem quotes. The whole lyrics to Tribe Called Quest, I got that down, but Rosetta Stone is not going to use you
for that.
I ain't got time. One thing that we're always kind of talking about back and forth is when to expose a kid to a phone and to expose them to technology. Because part of you goes, well, no, I don't want them exposed to that right now. They need to be a kid.
Right.
They need to live in the element. But the other part is like, well, if all the other kids are being exposed to phones, when that kid gets older.
Right. So like I see kids. So Maria is 6 months. 6 or about to be 7 months. So there's kids already that age
Stop. No.
on the iPhone
Stop it.
and can like exit out of apps, find the one
Yeah.
they want.
They can't
Like-
read, but they know the password
Yes.
because of memory.
Yep, they
Yeah.
know where to go, what to click, and start playing. So okay, and I'm like, I just want Maria to not like be a kid, but
Yeah.
like, okay, so then they're learning that now,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they're 1 year old, what they're gonna start doing code and whatever. They're gonna learn more, right?
Live streaming.
So when they get to school, and everybody's job is on the computer nowadays, like almost,
Yeah.
almost every job and future jobs are going to be, you need to know this stuff. So
Yeah.
when, Maria's 5 years old, all her kids have been working on computers and phones, know how to do that stuff. So when they're in school, I'm sure they're going to start learning even more about that stuff. Then by the time they graduate, they've been doing all this, where if I wait for Maria till she's in, let's say, high school, okay, we'll get you a phone and start
Yeah.
doing that in high school. She's not even going to know how to find I have to show her how to find the contacts to call, show her how to use it.
Yeah.
Where these kids are. So is she, no, so am I
Yeah.
doing her a disservice by...
Well, you wonder if it's more so just like giving her structured time with it, as opposed to, because there's definitely the exaggeration of you're out to dinner and instead of parenting your child, you give them 10 years ago it was the portable DVD player. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then now it's an iPad. Of
Yeah, or
things.
use your phone. You put something
Parenting
on,
made
yeah.
easy. I think if you're doing it like that, I think that's doing a disservice. I think
Right.
exposing her to it for that logic, I think that makes sense. I think that's good. I think where it comes in trouble if it's replacing parenting or replacing your time. I think if you're not replacing your time with her with that, I think that's probably good while still giving her time with it. Does that make sense?
So, like...
Yeah, I think so. But it's hard. Here's the thing. It sounds nice on paper, but where is that balance?
Yeah.
Because if he's with his kid, okay, well, how do you determine what is parenting and what is this is time where you can play with technology?
Yeah.
Like, there's kids, even some of our cousins' kids, like, they're able to go on YouTube. They're 2 years old. Go on YouTube and well, they can't type because
Yeah,
they can't write yet, but like they're able to click the YouTube app and it'll show the your homepage will show what you watched.
Yeah.
They watch other kids, other 3-year-olds playing with like their toys.
Yeah. Like there was a
Yeah.
story on it, like a legitimate story of like certain people releasing kids content. And they're releasing kids content, and then it's like weird. Like as an adult, you look at it and be like, kids shouldn't be watching it, but it's got this weird, filter is the wrong word, not in a literal sense. It's got this weird, it's like a Kids Bop version on a Lil Wayne song. Think of it that way, because you're like, I know the content is bad, but
Well,
it
no,
doesn't
listen
look,
to
it looks
this. It's
childlike.
worse.
And so it adds into the
They
algorithm.
have videos on YouTube, half an hour video. The first 20 minutes is a regular kid show, and then the last 10 minutes is like either porn or it'll be like some guy killing someone. Like it'll be like really graphic stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to trick the parent. I don't know who's doing this, but
Criminals.
Someone who's watched Fight Club way too much. You
Yeah.
know that scene where they put the little porno clips in between the movies,
Oh,
so that when
yeah.
people watch it, all of a sudden they'll have like a flash of a penis or something,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What the?"
Yeah, so this is what people are doing.
Yeah.
I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're teenagers doing something funny or they're grown adults, but it'll be just titled Baby Shark.
Yeah.
You click on it, you kind of want, okay, yep,
okay.
you put it in front of it, yep, and
Yeah.
then halfway through, it'll just turn to something else,
Yeah.
and it'll be something just really graphic.
Why
or
you should
really,
join the cult? And you're like, "Oh,
Yeah, and that's another scary thing. So if my daughter learns how to do that stuff early on, if she learns how to go through and click videos that, oh, Baby Shark, she sees the picture, the tag picture, oh, she might watch that, so
Yeah, I think it's then finding the balance, because it's probably obviously easier on paper, but finding the balance of this is a chaperoned experience.
Yeah.
Internet is a completely open field. Why are you
Yeah.
led to your own devices as a
Right.
1-year-old to handle this? You can't handle
Right.
this. There's too much.
I remember when AOL Instant Messenger came out, and there were some girls either in my class or maybe in your class, so they're figure between 5th to 8th grade.
Yeah.
They couldn't use it unless a parent was sitting next to them.
Yeah.
Pretty
because
normal.
because they were worried about predators or what they were saying, if they were giving out any information. they had parents sit next to them. And at the time as a kid, I'm like, that's ridiculous, you know? But when you get older, you go, oh, that makes sense. But then at the same time, like you said, if you just, oh, you're watching Baby Shark, oh, okay, and then you walk away, it's like now we're walking away at a younger age and letting these kids go out, be more exposed to the internet. Whereas, like I said, not too long ago, the parent would literally sit next to you and go, okay, you know, you can type and say what you want, but I'm sitting right here.
You get an hour, or it's decided time. You get it mainly because internet was by the hour, but you get an hour of MySpace, or you get an hour whatever.
Computer.
Any way to structure it. It shouldn't be a free range. This is yours. You don't get anything.
But here's
You're
the thing.
one.
It's like with YouTube, YouTube's my favorite, but it's also the scariest because like
that's where the stories are from.
And it's like these kids can learn so much from YouTube. How to break passwords. You know, so even if you put on like safe things, these kids are learning how to bypass those. Yeah. And they're learning how to do code. Yeah, they really are. It's crazy.
Which we did it the same. I mean, we did that age too.
We did it.
Yeah.
And what's it called? It's also different too. Cool, because then here's the other debate: is okay, you know, well, Sally's not going to be on the phone, you know, but if you're a parent and you're on your phone all the time because you're in 2019 and that's what we all do. It's like, how's she your kid's sitting there playing and they just see you on your phone the whole time. And I'm saying I do it too, you know. That's what makes me worried. I'm like, I got to make sure that when I have kids that I don't always go to my phone because it's so tempting to always go to your phone.
But why not? Because because at some point it's going to even be more like
immersive.
The phone's going to be even more involved, so you almost need to learn it.
Yeah, it is that balance of learning it but not. I can't think of the word, but yeah.
So that's why I don't know. I'd like to see what if being on your phone all the time is bad. Like, it feels bad. Yeah. Like, so maybe just because it's new still.
Well, it's so tough because that's what it is. How is it possible to? I mean, even for our age, as adults, is there a legitimate reason to? I mean, we know some of the downsides of being too much involved in social media and on your phone, of reduced social skills and certain fears that are replaced with other ones now that it's just
reduced social skills. So, but do you even need social skills now?
And that's the problem.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
are going along with the times worth it? Like going along with the times. I hope.
It's like, what do you need social skill for if we're never going to have that again?
Right.
But it seems weird to say that.
It does, yeah.
I hope it's not like you're stuck in this path of going to the simulation, because that's where that's headed. Yeah. If you eventually don't need social skills, that's provided with the theory that eventually we're going to be in one singularity. And
because it's easy to defend why you need social skills.
Right.
But the reality is that if you go to your local bar, restaurant, anyway, you go to a nice Chili's, you're not talking to strangers. You're not talking to strangers. No. But yet you'll go online, you'll talk to thousands of strangers.
So
it's no big deal.
And even just business is done.
Yeah.
On what I mean, like.
Yeah. I mean, how many people now work from home because all their talking and all their thing is on email. And even if they work in the office, the only time someone comes up to talk to you is if they say, "Hey, did you get my email?"
Yeah.
Like, you got to respond to my email, or they'll text it to you. So it's even getting more antisocial. And it's easy to say, well, that's bad, but it's like, okay, well, but is that what it is? Is that the new
Yeah, why is it bad? Because it's just, oh, now it's going to be no more talking to each other. Yeah. Okay, well, what's that going to do?
It's like it's scary inherently, like any movie that's done that. I mean, even think about in a lighthearted sense, WALL-E. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Is it possible to not join the rat race, or to keep advancing in technology and not head in that direction? And I don't know.
Exactly. So that's where it gets stuck at.
We watched. I finally watched 8th Grade, the Bo Burnham movie. Loved it.
Isn't it good?
And then I got Anthony to watch it. Loved it. And it's kind of like that. There's this, you got this girl. She's in 8th grade, and obviously with the title, and a big chunk of it is she's making blogs to people around the world of how to kind of live your life and to better yourself. Meanwhile, she's in 8th grade, so she's learning and struggling with these things herself.
And that's what prompts the topics of each video is because which guides the storyline.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, and it's amazing. It's an amazing movie. Everyone should go watch it. But it's just so interesting how she's so much into that technology. But then we do the same thing though. How many people every day create blogs of things that they kind of know about?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I kind of know a little bit about making a mug. You made one mug, but then you make a blog on your whole process and all this stuff because like the world needs to know that I learned how to make a mug.
The fitness industry, online fitness, is so obnoxious with literally, well, I got a personal trainer and now I don't need a personal trainer, so I should probably start personal training other people online with clients. It'd be like, you literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I got a pair of Lululemon. So.
I
What
think
does that mean?
I think I know.
I think I know a little bit more than you.
Check out my MasterCard. It's filled with debt. Thanks, Lululemon. I know what I'm doing.
It's filled with that, just really real all of a sudden.
So, but it's like, okay, is there a way to go back, or is it bad to go back?
Yeah.
What is that thing?
I think okay. So let's say I don't know what the problems are with like taking out like social skills and now having social skills. Maybe it causes like a lot of depression. I think I've
That
heard
could
stuff
be
like
it.
that. So
Needing the validation from too many people.
yeah. So I think what maybe instead of limiting your time on there, maybe it's okay. Let's focus on creating a way to do this with less like creating a healthy way to do it even more.
Yeah, because social media and online isn't inherently bad, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of amazing things, access to knowledge, information, connectivity of people all around the world. Those are all really good things.
So right now we're in a spot where okay, but now we're running into speed bumps where we're causing lack of social
We're not
skills,
taking into account. Yeah.
even social skills on the internet.
Yeah.
How we can treat people bad because we're behind a screen.
It's like same thing when you're in traffic. You're totally fine with giving the stranger the middle finger.
Yeah.
Because it's my car versus your car. It's
Right.
not human versus human.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So where okay, well now instead of saying, okay, let's stop. Everybody should stop doing social media.
Yeah.
Maybe find a way to
Yeah.
do this.
I think that'll be it because I've always thought about like it seems like I don't know every advancement ever, but it seems like technology has really focused on the phone and social media. Is a lot of it goes into that making this better, smaller, quicker, faster, whatever. It almost seems like where we're at right now, we're seeing all the downsides of social media. Let's just say depression. It's almost like we found this cool thing, the phone. Wow, smartphone. And now we're in like the playground version of technology. Like we got it. We're like, well, what
so
can we
new.
do with it?
It's
So
so new right
we're
now.
trial and error. And I think we got to find how to limit the error because there's a big error with the.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we've proven to do that.
Yeah.
Like humans have proven to do that since we always.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that there's, with the rise of podcasts, right? So when you think of, not necessarily our podcast, but when you think of even like the Joe Rogan podcast, they're 3-hour long discussions. Do you think that
That's a result.
that this is a result of
It is,
our
for
need
sure.
for communication for other people?
look at that-
but we go through our phone to do it, so that's why we'll listen to 3 hours. Or do you think it's just because the format now allows people, like people have always want to hear discussions, but when you watch something on television, you're maybe going to get 5-6 minutes. If you have a TV show, you get 30 minutes. You don't get 3.5 hours plus of stuff for free.
I feel like if
So do you think it's like
that
a
is
deep,
what's balancing
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I think people even before had no problem listening to the 3-hour conversations. They still would have in the 1800s, but if we didn't have that, I feel like that's like when I listen to a podcast, or listen to just even a talk or even just some kind of interview, you don't do nothing, but you feel like you're in the conversation just listening there. So I think that's what's supplementing that missing that in your life.
I feel like the best compliment I've gotten 2 or 3 times maybe about the podcast is, I was listening to that episode and I kept getting frustrated because I wanted to chime in here or this and that, and I actually did, and then I realized
Yeah.
you guys were talking. I was like, I think that's the coolest compliment because it's potentially the purpose it's supposed to be serving.
Yeah, it's not only is it creating a conversation that you're engaging in, but it's almost a conversation where you, when it's over, you still want to think about yourself. Oh, if I was there, I
Yeah.
would say this. That was one of the things that we wanted to do from the beginning. Was when people are like, well, what is your podcast about? What is it like? Because we're not professionals in really much. We're not like an expert in this or that. But I said I wanted to have the feeling of when you would sit in the car or you're at a bar or you're wherever and you would hear like the goofy uncle talk, or you'd hear like just people talking and you were engaged in that talking and you just kind of want to sit and listen. That's what I feel like we wanted this podcast to be. It's just a conversation where you just feel like you're sitting around with your buddies or you're sitting around with your family versus I want to learn more about space, so I'm going to listen to the space guy, because we just don't have those expertise, but yet I still think we provide something.
Yeah.
And I think social media is kind of similar to
I remember what I was gonna say.
gambling, where you want to see what to say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like it's similar to gambling, and they talk about this, how like when you get a like or you get a whatever, you get a little dopamine. Oh, I'm just gonna keep. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep checking the Facebook, and eventually, or I'll keep checking, social media or whatever, and I'll get more stuff. Gambling's like that too, but gambling, it was easy to see where it's an addiction because you say, hey, you're actually losing money.
Yeah.
Now we're losing opportunity costs. We're losing time that we could be spent doing other things. But
Or we're losing the dopamine, which is, without anything tangible, is making today worse at a physiological level. And I think that's what it is. I think social media is bad when it's, thank you for bringing that up, when it's not treated the same way alcohol, gambling, food is treated. These things should be respected in the way of too much and now it's bad.
Yeah.
Now this is making your brain go on or off in certain directions. And so without it, it goes off. It's certain,
And you can't just call it, like I said, we've said before, you can't call it all bad,
Right, it's not
because
bad.
if it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be able to have this podcast. We wouldn't be able to do this type of stuff. It was only limited to the radio or television.
Yeah.
But at the same time, radio and television, when they first came out, they were abused and everyone was constantly using that. And they would say, hey, well, we're all sitting around listening to the radio. Why don't we all go do something positive? Or you're sitting around watching TV all day. You're going to melt your brain.
Yeah.
Social media is just the new version of that. We have a thing that everyone likes and it's great, and then we abuse it, and then we go, okay, we're either going to limit it or it's going to be destroyed on its own for a new thing that we can be addicted to.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say was, I don't think it'll ever be like we'll never. The more we get into the technology and less human interaction, the more businesses will, and more industries will grow, like stand-up comedy industry. Bars will always be good.
Yeah.
Podcasts because you're gonna have a generation that if you have one generation that completely says it's unsafe to be around people, so do everything you can, because it's already kind of going like that.
It's in the direction of the fear.
Kids can't walk home from school by themselves. You can't do this, you can't do that, because you hear all these stories
Someone's
about
out
people
to get you.
Exactly. So there'll be a as we're still getting there, so there'll be a generation where just the worst thing you can do is go outside and see another person, hide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then you'll have a rebellious generation that's going to sneak out and meet up down by the river or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to go meet up somewhere, and
I think that's
they'll be the
true.
hippies of the time. Will be like,
Yeah, I think
the
that's
rebels,
something like that. And I really like what you said about things like. So I think that's true. I think things like stand-up podcasts, almost structured social interactions will come at an increase because
you get to what will be the first time it'll be somewhere you can go and laugh with people.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between
If you gotta
laughing
make
at
it
a video
business, whatever.
and being with someone who's laughing, and now you're laughing.
It's so much
how
funnier.
hard they're laughing.
Yeah.
So there's a whole emotion you're missing from just watching a video. It
Right,
could be the
yeah.
funniest video, and you're laughing your
I-
ass off. But when you're with a group of people laughing, it's something that's not that funny.
Yeah.
But everybody's laughing, so you start laughing, and then you.
Yeah.
Same with listening to music and
The
then going to a
community
concert.
of it.
Yep. So,
I think that's. I mean, like people will. I've even heard someone say of prison and how truly awful prison is. Think of it's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Still, solitary confinement is the worst thing you could do to someone in prison. You know, prison is it's unbearable. So people would still prefer
what do they
that.
call it? In the box or something?
Yeah. That's where you will die and go insane. Not the place where you have a risk of getting stabbed and all other things.
Yeah.
So I don't think that'll go away. So I think if it becomes
Yeah.
the norm of not seeing people, there will be a structured way to be social.
Right. We're still because
Yeah.
that will be, because I think one day there's not going to be a Walmart and like there won't be like retail stores.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be online.
Yeah.
Because you don't get anything really out of going to the Walmart. You just might spend more.
Right.
Because you're going to see something. But like you don't really get anything out of that. The drive there. And
Parking.
interacting with the 12-year-old working the cash register, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that will definitely be all gone. So then we'll have all this real estate. Most of it will be warehouses because everything's shipped
Amazon
online.
warehouses.
But I think you're going to see a lot of like bowling alleys will still be big.
Bowling alleys, why? They will always be big.
I don't get it.
Bowling will come and go.
Yeah.
Axe throwing will come and go. Bowling will
Bowling.
never go.
Because
America's treasure.
anything where you're with a group of people, like
And you're not really doing a lot. Like you
Right.
can be 1,000 pounds or you
Yep.
can be 25 pounds. You can bowl.
Everyone's okay to ignore bowling as a sport while they're bowling. Like,
Yeah.
no one knows the score.
now casino may not be there.
You wonder if that'll get also replaced by online.
That's
How
what
much
I'm
of
saying.
that is
Online casinos.
Because you don't really go to
Maybe.
the casino and
Maybe. I don't know.
but
You're not going for people though. You're going
I'm
because
saying,
you want
for
to
the
make some
game.
money and.
But you always
But
see in
some
movies.
people, like,
I
if-
don't go a lot. I mean, I've been maybe 4 times in my whole life.
Right.
But it seems like when they play it in movies, you gotta only do the slots solo thing. But when they play it in movies, it's always like them at like the craps table, and there's a big crowd around them.
Right.
So maybe those who go more often and who really like it, it's like no, you go there, everyone's yelling, and so maybe that's part of it.
Maybe that's not because
Yeah, because I've never been to a casino by myself.
Yeah, we're just like, all right, well,
No.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right. Well, some people do.
Some
that.
people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just, I went to the movies alone before.
Hell yeah.
And it's great in concept until you leave the movie and you realize that you're alone.
That's what's
you have no
weird
one to
too.
talk to
I
the
wonder
movie
if
about.
the movie theater will be there. Probably not.
It seems like it really
has to
won't
go.
be with how
Net-
big
I love the
streaming is.
movie
I
theater.
hope it doesn't.
Netflix has taken over.
Yeah.
I think.
It's
I don't.
Why would you go to the movies?
Like
Right.
the only reason
And yet I love
why
it.
you go to the movies, I mean, there is the experience part of it, but the only reason why you really go to the movies is so that way you can keep up with the online memes. Like I'm going to the first day to see Avengers. Like you have to, because there's going to be 50 million memes, and you got to understand.
Yeah, but I'm
the
saying,
memes
why
and
don't they
spoilers.
just release it?
I think eventually that's what they're
Yeah,
going to do.
you know.
They're just going to eventually just release it on Netflix, and then you can binge watch it the day it comes out and call it a
something
day.
So that is something that would be gone. But like I said, I think you're going to have bars. Because you still have to, like...
There's still the social aspect of the bar that's kind of bigger than the drinks itself. They charge the drinks more because otherwise, just buy a beer and drink at home.
That's
but
true.
It's like,
Right. Well, the bar is mostly, like, I would say dating. So
Yeah.
you need somewhere to go to meet that. You're going to meet people online, but I don't feel like you're going to say, well, come over to my house.
I don't think a bar is going to get replaced. I think
You
it
have
might
to-
get updated.
Yeah, it might
to
be
a similar-
different format or something,
Right.
different way you do things. But like the bar, a comedy club, people are gonna need somewhere to meet a date that's safe.
Yeah.
Now, again, nobody's gonna go to the bar. I feel like it won't be go to the bar to find someone. Oh, that's a pretty girl. That's a good looking guy. Like,
Yeah. Because that's
you know,
already going out the window that we've talked about.
it's all the Tinder. It's all on the line. So that's it. But still, again, but also people are getting more scared of people.
Yep.
So the last thing they're going to do is, all right, well, meet me at my house at this address.
yeah,
Right.
They're definitely not doing that.
There'll be a
No,
weird
so-
thing of
security
using.
guards.
We need to know.
Yeah.
So I think from now until forever, we'll need a safe spot
Yeah.
for, okay, we can all meet here where there's other people,
Yeah.
you know.
There's
so-
witnesses.
Yeah,
There will
exactly.
always be that, and then the online part, let's say the Tinder will be used for the vetting process.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
I'm still scared of people more than ever. but I can't. I have to see them. You're not coming to my house. It's
Right.
this weird.
So
It's
that's why
weird.
those
Yeah.
businesses,
Yeah.
or even like okay, let's meet at this comedy show.
Yeah.
Because you like comedy or
Yeah.
this concert or something. I don't know. There's still going to be even new businesses that
Yeah.
are just for. You already see it now, like, or there'll be more, like you're going to see a lot of, which already are quite a bit, but like bikers clubs.
Yeah.
People who bicycle. We meet at this KFC hall, and like we do a breakfast brunch, and we talk about doing bikes.
Yeah.
So you'll have stuff like that where people get to meet. So I don't think it'll ever be a time where nobody's
Leaving the house.
talking to anybody, right?
Right.
So,
I think that's true. I hope so because
and that's not a scary future to me.
Because
Like,
the scary part of the what is it? I don't know what the genre is called of like the alternative future, like the Hunger Games type of books.
Oh, like
and
the
movies.
dystopian.
Dystopian, yeah. The scary part of all of those, because there's been plenty of movies about that, is they take the fear that we have of the future. And I think just the fact that we're aware of where it's going by these sci-fi movies, the fact that we're aware of it, I think is a good sign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We know the direction it's going, and you hope we balance it out.
There's going to be a lot of people kicking and screaming
Yeah.
throughout because they're like, no, this is going to
And-
be
yeah.
just like,
And it is a consumer-driven market.
yes.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is true.
So, yeah, you're gonna have I think you will even have stuff eventually. Just like, this is a talk bar. Like,
Honestly, that might even be
you
that.
just go there
Talk bar.
and there's like
You could talk to strangers, and everyone's like, oh, that
Yeah,
sounds
like
kind of
you can talk face to face. And
Yeah.
you'll have people
Marketing, because if we can market water, we can market conversation.
This is true.
there'll be different.
crazy.
Waitress comes up like, hey, what topic? Would you
What's
like
up?
today?
You wanna talk about? Politics. Everyone leaves.
Yeah. I was like, oh, God.
Oh,
Here we
wow.
go.
It's tough because we want to strive for perfection. That'd be obviously the best thing to do.
Right.
So those are the downsides of this way. But maybe this is it's the best way ever in the whole world. This is the best way.
Yeah.
The best way has flaws,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's the
Well,
way
because
it
it's
is.
made by humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's like, trying to think like, we always make a law. Like we seem to try to make laws out of the exception. Like, you have something. Okay. Let's say people riding. It's tough to give an example, but like where something happens where, let's say it's motorcycles,
Yeah.
and if you ride a motorcycle, there are people who die on motorcycles. So they go, okay, so let's ban motorcycles because people die on them.
Right.
Well, okay, but like that's just how it is. People are gonna die on motorcycles. Like,
Yeah.
why can't we leave that?
That's
There's
such
still a
a
risk.
tough line of like, that's just going to happen, which is true in a
Right.
lot of scenarios.
And it's better. And I'm saying, and it's better. This is actually the perfect balance.
Yeah.
Like, there's a balance.
There is a
there.
risk to this, and there's some human choice behind it that you're signing up for the risk. Hey, what's up? Motorcycle, I'll take it. You got to wear your helmet. Still some risk. Got it. Boop, bop, boop. Thank you
Yeah.
for the motorcycle. That's the thing with, we want it to be perfect, and I think that's back to what we're talking about the dystopian society. Is it's assuming that perfect is
attainable.
and when it is attainable in the dystopian movies, you realize how imperfect it really is because humans aren't perfect
Yeah.
Right.
inherently.
So we're trying to fix something that might already be perfect as much as like this might be the best way for it to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's just that's the
just like,
system, and you
Yeah.
gotta figure out how to play in that game.
Stop trying to make humans not humans because they're humans.
Well, I mean, even think about just the idea of freedom. You can't be free unless you can pick both things that are good for you and things that are bad for you. If your freedom was, oh, I'm only gonna have almond milk, that's not really free because now you can have a discipline where you say I'm only gonna have almond milk.
that's a freedom. Like,
And
yeah,
that's
like-
a freedom
yeah.
because you're willingly choosing it. But if you can only have almond milk, you're not allowed to have anything else. You're not free.
Yeah.
There's a big thing about how discipline creates freedom because you're choosing, even though you want a beer, you're choosing not to have a beer. And that in turn gives you freedom because you have the power to say no. But you also need the power to say yes to stuff.
So steroids are illegal. But in order to get something similar, they're like, oh, steroids are legal. So there's a group of people who will do something that's legal. And so they make like off-brand steroids. They're like and they still have a similar effect, but they're legal. It's like this gray
Yeah.
area, and it's the most harmful supplements you can take. They are so much more harmful than illegal like injectable steroids, which is crazy to say. They will find a way to do it. And it's like, how do we make it safer for the people? Because again, humans are going to be humans.
Think about the prohibition too. They got rid of all the alcohol because alcohol was bad.
Yeah.
People started making alcohol in their bathtubs. People were drinking that alcohol and they were going blind.
Yeah.
And they were dying.
Yeah.
So so what do you think about regulations?
That's probably, depending on what it is, that's probably what it has to be.
Well, here's the thing. When you say the word regulations,
what does it
that's broad. Because there's some regulations where it's costing the business more to deal with these regulations than to actually grow, and it's stunning their growth. Whereas there's some regulations that are as simple as, hey, we got to make sure that there isn't poison in this donut.
Right.
I had a really weird idea the other day, kind of changing topics. So we always joke about everything being in a simulation.
Right. Yeah.
We love playing with that theory of like you're in the Matrix right now because we think it's hilarious and we don't take it seriously. So I woke up one day from having a dream and I thought, what if the dream is reality and waking up is a simulation? Because in a simulation, in programs, everything, there's a structure to everything.
Physics
rules.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. There's the gravity. There's a law of gravity. No matter how you can't hack your way into it, but there's a system. There's an order. So how do we not know if reality itself doesn't have rules, regulations, and we're in the dream world? And then when we get off of the dream world, because you ever have those times, I get these a lot, where I wake up and I have to kind of remember what's going on. Like, oh yeah, I'm not a 13-year-old. I'm an adult. I live here.
It felt
this
real
one
at
here.
the time. At the time.
Yeah, like how do we not know if that's not just the simulation reloading and picking up all the information of, oh yeah, okay.
So say like
everything
right
loads.
now is the dream.
Right now is the simulation.
When I
the
go to
dream,
sleep tonight,
when you go
have
to
a
sleep
dream.
tonight, you're actually in the real world, which doesn't have order because it's not a system.
Yeah.
That was an idea I had, and I was like,
I love it.
I was like, does that make sense? I'm like, probably not, but it's podcast worthy.
Right. Well, I mean, it's definitely a theory that based on all of the points of that theory of that you just said, you're not able to disprove it, which is why it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you would say, well, no, because this I can feel that. You go, well, no, that's why it's a simulation, because there's rules. And so
Yeah, but then at the same time, though, can a reality where there are no rules create something that has rules?
what?
So,
Yeah.
so like there's an order to how we operate, which means then we in turn create things like a microphone that has an order in which that operates. If we don't have an order, how are we able to create anything with order if we are completely just random
Yeah.
stuff?
Well, that goes back to the how are humans who are imperfect supposed to tell you what is perfect, like
Yeah.
what the goal is. Well, we already know we're imperfect, so any idea is inherently going to be imperfect.
right.
Yeah, it's not in us.
What did Alan Watts once say, Richie? I'm waiting for an Alan Watts quote at
Oh
this
well,
point.
he said. He said how are humans? That's an Alan Watts quote.
Yeah.
how
That
are humans who are imperfect supposed to? What was it? But it was that basically.
Yeah, wait. Actually, you know what? I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because you brought up before. It was about how they asked Alan Watts to make if they had the ability to make the perfect person.
They now know they way back when they were like, we're going in the direction of we can manipulate genes a little bit. I think that I don't know if that's real, if that
I don't know.
exists yet, or it's on the market. But so they were in that direction, and they brought in a bunch of people, philosophers, biologists, whatever, and they said, okay, we're getting in this direction. What kind of humans should we make? And he goes, well, it's going to change with the times. Right now we might need a lot of, in Jordan Peterson word, industrious people. Next we might need a lot more abstract thinkers. Next, concrete. He goes, one thing you shouldn't do is please don't design us down to a couple of great people. Like a couple, he goes, I can imagine a perfectly pestiferous group of saints. Like there has to be variety no matter
Right.
what.
Yeah.
And how are we supposed to know what the perfect thing is because
We're inherently imperfect.
right.
But what's funny is like, and that is perfect.
Is being imperfect.
That since we're all imperfect,
Yeah.
it makes it perfect.
Right.
Like,
We have to embrace what's different and imperfect about each other, or else there won't be any
there's
checks
like,
and balances.
since we're all imperfect, it creates the balance.
yeah.
Just like we're saying with just like we were saying before,
Mm-hmm.
the way maybe the law is right now, you're gonna have the accidents, but it's set up perfect. Like you can't get bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But yeah, because if you put too much control on it, it gets dangerous and it gets bad. And if you don't put any control on it, it gets too
and
chaotic.
it may lose romance.
Yeah.
Or it may lose. If everything's perfect, will we ever cry again?
Well, that's what it is. And
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, is there ever crying? And what does crying do for crying creates happiness? Like if you never
Yeah.
cried,
you never know what joy is.
exactly. So
What is it? What is it? Inside Out, the Pixar one,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
where there's the sadness. She's always
Yeah,
crying,
And she was the protagonist.
but she's the one who ends up helping
Yeah.
because you have to recognize pain in order to heal.
Yeah.
If you just go, no, everything's all happy, don't get sad, you become soulless essentially. You
Well-
need to have both. If you're depressed all the time, that's obviously dangerous. But if you're only quote unquote happy all the time, you become miserable.
Well, Alan Watts, he has a whole talk about why the urge to improve yourself, and the point isn't don't try. The point is maybe you're already perfect right as you are, and you should really lean into where you're already there. Lean into it. Stop trying to change, because if you change if you never cry, and that's what he's saying. He goes, if you change well, what's going to be the repercussion of that? If you can't cry, what's going to be the repercussion?
Right.
Stop. It's endless.
That's
You're
it.
already
That's what I'm
there.
saying. It's perfect already.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like we have natural disasters, but then we have beautiful mountains and beautiful days. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't look at a mountain, you wouldn't look at a beautiful landscape.
If it didn't rain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it didn't rain.
So
So it says sometimes forest fires will create just these amazing vegetation and stuff after.
Yep.
There's certain trees and stuff, I think, that they don't give off pollen unless there's a fire.
Really?
Jordan Peterson said it once. I think it's something like that. But
Yeah.
but there is a part. There's a part of suffering. I thought we were gonna go light on this, but we're going into suffering now.
Yeah.
There's a part of suffering that actually suffering creates value to almost everything. You know?
there would be no happiness if there was no
Yeah.
sadness. Just
Yeah.
like there would be no sad. You know, so like you have to, or else you just be blank.
Yeah.
Your whole you would
Yeah.
just be.
You would be you'd be
nothing.
gray, pea soup, room temperature.
Yep.
Yeah. You'd be empty.
And you wouldn't know any other way. Like it
Mm-hmm.
would just be, and that would lose. Like
Yeah.
can't have that.
Well, that's why I'm so obsessed with Alan Watts, is he talks about that a lot, and it makes me genuinely when I'm in a point of suffering, truly I'm all I think about is, oh cool, what's gonna come after this?
Yeah.
That's where the juice of life is. You're like, oh wow, I was really bored for a while, and
Yeah.
now this sucks, which means
It kind of goes the whole thing.
I was
where it's
asleep and someone threw cold water on me, and now I'm alive.
yeah,
well, it's just like the whole thing with finding happiness. I just want to be happy.
yeah.
It's like if you were happy 100% of the time, which
Why would you want that?
You can't be that,
Yeah,
because you can't be happy unless there's something to be sad about. I don't know. It's like
well, you wouldn't know it.
right.
You would
Yeah.
there because happy is 100% comparison, no matter what. Most of our language it's a comparison to the direct opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do that. So it already is perfect.
Right.
And in order to create happiness has to have a value to it too, because otherwise, you'll have inevitable suffering. Like if you get the short term, oh, this makes me happy, I'm gonna eat 10 pounds of cotton candy. That makes me happy. Well, eventually you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna puke. You're gonna cry. It's gonna be horrible. But if you say, you know what, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna suffer. That person isn't happy right now when they're sweating and they're aching and they're in pain. They feel like they're going to pass out. But long term, that person is going to be healthier, able to live longer, able to do more with their life. So it's almost finding a happiness that results where the suffering is worth it.
Yeah.
Versus just finding happiness. Because if you find happiness, okay, well, I don't want suffering. Well, this happiness isn't going to last very long. Whereas if you find something that's worth suffering for, creating value to it, so you need that suffering because it creates value, creates appreciation, everything. If you want to buy a Ferrari, it costs, I don't know, $100,000. I don't know the price of it. I know it's way too much than I can afford. It's like, well, why is this so much? It's like, how can that be suffering? It's like, well, all the money, all the work, everything you have to do to try to figure out how to pay for that car, that's in a way suffering.
Yeah.
And that's why not everyone does it. Not everyone wants to suffer for a Ferrari. Some people like Ferraris. They go, oh, that's a cool Ferrari. But they don't want to suffer to do that. They'd rather suffer and do something better, like their retirement or something more beneficial to them that they see as a value. So suffering is good. It is part of everything.
It's just part of it.
It's just part of it.
And that's what, and he talks about that. It's just something you can't escape once you stop trying to. Once you go after, okay, well, what is worth it? Life is a lot easier, because a lot of depression is like, okay, it's like, where do I need to go now? Because right now is bad.
Yeah.
And once you accept that right now isn't bad,
it just is.
I don't mean to oversimplify depression because it sounds like I am, but
Right.
it's
No, I know
just,
what you mean. Yeah.
it's stopped. Oh God.
Well, yeah, no, come on. We definitely have to make that premise where if you have actual clinical depression where parts of your brain are not firing the correct dopamines, that's different.
Yeah.
Because you're not telling your brain, hey, fire more dopamine. That's a whole process that you have to have professionals. We're saying everyday Joe.
2019 depression. Not
2019 depression.
I'm fucking leaving.
No, because you know what it is. What it is like
it's the social media that's creating depression.
There's another word for it.
Yeah.
We just are uneducated.
Yeah.
Like
discontent with the present moment.
It's like so no, it's just that that's the word we have for it. I know what you mean. Like I'm depressed today. You know, it's like that's
we throw that word around so much that it's lost so much of its meaning.
There's like the word love.
Yeah,
I love tacos.
Yeah.
I love my wife.
Yeah.
Two different totally things. You know?
Whoa.
Compare me to tacos.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? So
You're
those
cheating
two
on your wife
different-
with tacos?
Yeah. So it's two different.
Yeah.
We're using depression in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony, is there anything that you wanted to kind of talk about? Anything you wanted to say? Any just like, I don't know, something goofy? Anything that's been going on with you?
Let me think here. Is there any ideas I've had? I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like trippy or...
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Do you have any? I don't know if this is a good idea. I mean, it might help. Any like when you were like, because I know you're like back and forth on. You like have an interest to kind of to do, like 5 minutes or stand up on the show or try it out. Are there any like bits that come to your head?
So yeah, okay. I've been I've been trying to put together a set. So far, I have nothing. Like
Okay.
but like I'll come up with something. Where usually I'm driving. I think
Yeah,
of something
every
funny.
time.
Yep. Think of something. Oh, that's good. So I'll put it in my notes, and like I won't put the whole bit down, and then I'll come back like a week later and go, "Oh, that was garbage."
I don't know what that meant.
Yeah, or it's like, I don't understand it, or I was like, "Oh no, that's not good," you know. And I guess you just got to get that out of your head, and because I was in the car, it was great.
Well, that's part of
You
it
know?
too. Is
Yeah.
like, I don't know if this will help. Again, I'm only 2 years into it. Is what I do is I'll have an idea, and if it's just a little bit less garbage, if it's not garbage, if it's just like, because every time I listen to it later, I'll have a rant. I go, this could be a funny bit, so I'll just record myself driving the car, and then I'll listen to it again, and I go, wow, not nearly as funny as I thought it was at the time when I was super caffeinated driving. And everything's funny that I say, but I go, but that part's funny, so I'll just
Work around that.
Yep. And then once it's even when it's like a solid bit, I'll listen to it again, and I'll go, how long has it been since a punchline was said?
Yeah.
Because I think we all like to talk.
Yeah.
So it's like this would be a great TED talk if people were fans of me inherently.
Yeah.
But how long has it been since a punchline? And then it keeps going.
How do you
from
get
there.
to the funny?
Here's what I like. I'll like think of something that I'm like, this is funny, but nobody's gonna think this is funny. Like you get
It's like an
a
inside joke type of thing.
Kind of. It's like or okay, this is funny, but I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
I can describe it to myself, and it's hilarious, but like I can't make a story of it or like let people know.
Yeah. How do I give the audience context so they're on the same level?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like I'm talking to my brothers.
Yes.
And how?
Right.
And I think that's a big part of it is how do I make sure the audience has the necessary context to find this funny? And that's
Like I'll see
part of
some
it.
guy drive and do something in the car, and I'll be like, why does that guy drive like that?
yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah,
yeah, but then how do you bring that to the stage?
It's
where
hilarious
you
that
can-
I said, why does that guy drive like that?
right.
What am I going to go on stage and go, I was driving, and I was like, why does that guy drive like that? Oh, you should have seen him.
Yeah, you should
have
have
seen him.
It would have
I
been
mean, Well,
great.
that could be part of. Well, then you go. Well, they need to see it, so then you do it.
Right.
And then if
And so I'll think about that.
Yeah.
Like, the guy was driving, and he had the hand right here and not right here, and it was just funny. Like,
if it ends,
You should have been there.
if it ends with this
Yeah, it's just-
new bit,
But I'm
Ah.
like, man, and like you'll think it all in your head, and
Yeah.
when you're thinking, you can't. At least for me, I can't write what I'm thinking.
record it.
So when I was in school, because I'm not saying it.
Yeah,
So I can't. I always had I still do have a tough problem with writing essays because it's really hard for me to write lyrics because I can't when I think in it's like all over the place.
yeah,
But it makes sense to me. So I can't people used to go, well, just start writing stuff down.
yeah,
If I did that, it's like if I had to write about the beach,
yeah.
I'd be like, the beach is cool, Mountain Dew, and it's like
Yeah.
I start going
Well, that's
all over the place.
Well, I think that honestly, I feel like you should seriously just drive and record yourself talking.
Yeah.
I think that's literally it's got to be it because you'll get the chaos of 10 minutes, but in that 10 minutes, there's 2 minutes that's good.
So,
Yeah.
but
And you find it.
when you're are you talking to yourself when you do that?
Yeah, I look insane. I'm literally driving
See, I'm
by
just thinking.
myself.
How about you?
I do a mix of both. I'll use a voice recorder or I'll think it. But I know that when you're thinking the idea is very complex and great. It's got all these edges and it's got all this great stuff. The challenge is how do you bring that down into a structured format
How do I
like
take it out
paper
of my mouth? Yeah.
and
have to.
like saying it. My advice is I still think you should continue to just write stuff and just don't worry about structure at this point because your challenge needs to be how do I get this idea out? Then later on, then you can go, okay, how do I structure this?
I think you need to record yourself and just let everything come out and just throw up and then listen to it later.
I have a good example of something that I wrote, and I walk it now, and I go, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
So I have written down here. They need to figure out how to make it so you can turn the lights on in the car, and the driver doesn't have to say, "Hey, turn it off. I can't see." Like what? Where was that part? Like,
Well, it's relatable.
No. I know.
Yeah.
I already know what you're talking about. You're talking about
you're driving at night,
when it's at night.
Yeah.
and they turn the light on,
And you want to turn on the light so that way you can play your Game Boy,
Yeah.
or you can read a book, whatever, and it's always blinding the
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
so, but what is that like?
You could make that work.
I think it's relatable.
Here's what you
it just
do.
doesn't have a punchline.
Here's what you do. You make it relatable by telling a story of when you were a kid and you
But I
wanted
had
to
like
turn on the light.
When I was thinking of it, I had like a 2-hour bit.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But then it's the parents who get the glare and they're just trying not to crash and then they whatever. Yeah.
All right, so Anthony, do you have anything you want people to look out for, search for? I know what we said before with the university. They should,
Yep.
if they look up the university, Get Loose.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. That's the first song I put out, so it's kind of it's the single, I guess. So you just type in the university dash Get Loose or Get Loose the university. Because if you type in the university, you're gonna see University of Michigan, Alabama, all these. So
Yeah.
I may have to change his name or something, but
Yeah.
as of right now, it's the university. Get Loose, just one of the songs. Listen to that one, or any of the songs. You can go on Apple Music, YouTube,
Spotify.
all that's
All- where else?
Pandora. I think it's on all this, or not Pandora. I don't know what it's on. But it's,
It's on everything.
I go through a company that puts it on everything. So.
Right. Okay.
And then we have our next show is March 29th. It's at Eats and Crafts. Also Troy Escape, so whichever one it's easier for you to find. Tickets are $5. Doors open at 8:30, and we can't wait to see you all there.
Boom.
Here we go.